I took the 6 classes in BattleBit Remastered and destroyed them, turning them into brand new classes. I designed these loadouts to fit certain playstyles and made this video so you could even replicate them. These are not meta builds, so if that's what you are looking for, you might want to click away. Now that the extremely sweaty gamers are gone, let's see these loadouts and have some fun. For this class, I went all in on the heavy ammo crate and the use of throwables. So say goodbye to the support class and say hello to the new and improved Grenadier class. The goal of this class is to throw as many grenades as possible and see how many kills you can get. I can hear it in the comments now. That is such a crummy strategy. Get a life. Hey, I'm just here having some fun and you should too. To create this class, you'll have to select the support class and your loadout is going to look like this. For the primary weapon, go with the MG36, mainly because it is lighter, allowing you to move around the battlefield much quicker. For the primary gadget, go with the Suicide C4. You'll be using this when you run out of grenades so you can charge the enemy and hopefully blow up a few with yourself. For throwables, you are going with the almighty frag grenades. You could potentially run the impact grenades, but I feel those are a bit trickier to use. For armor, select heavy. For helmet, select normal. And for backpack, select heavy. The reason I did not go with exo armor was because you want a little bit of movement speed to quickly get to those highly populated choke points around the map. The heavy backpack is key to get that third heavy ammo crate. Now let's take a look at the pros and cons I noticed while playing the Grenadier class. The pros are, number 1, it has a huge potential for multi-kills, especially when the enemies are grouped up. Number 2, you get to provide everyone with ammo, making you a hero to most players. Number 3, this setup gives you a bit more running speed compared to the typical support class build. The cons are, number 1, seems to only work well on certain maps with choke points like the Wakistan Bridge. Number 2, this loadout is very situational, and at times I found it difficult to throw useful grenades. And number 3, you might get cussed out by the enemy team. For this class, I went all in on a well-known strategy that involves the use of 2 gadgets together. So say goodbye to the Recon class and say hello to the new and improved Pizza Delivery Guy class. The goal of this class is to throw some pizzas on top of your drone and go deliver them to the enemies that order them. To create this class, you'll have to select the Recon and your loadout is going to look like this. For primary weapon, just go with your preference because you won't really be needing it unless you run out of mines. For the primary gadget, go with the anti-personal mines, which are going to be your pizzas in this scenario. For secondary gadget, go with the air drone, which is what is going to be used for all your delivery needs. For throwables, just go with some grenades to take yourself out when you run out of dough. For armor, go with light. For helmet, go with empty. And for backpack, go for big, so you can hold even more pizzas. I went with the lighter equipment because the drone has limited range, so you occasionally have to do a bit of running to get the deliveries on time. Now let's take a look at the pros and cons I noticed while playing the Pizza Delivery Guy class. The pros are, it is extremely fun to chase around players in a drone, seeing the panic in their eyes. Number 2, can get some insane multi-kills, especially on Wakistan Bridge, where enemies are grouped up tightly. The cons are, number 1, the drone gets shot down very easily, and I expect it even more now that experience is rewarded for destroying explosive gadgets. Number 2, you only get 1 drone per life, so you have to be smart or do a lot of respawning. Number 3, it seems to be extremely situational unless you are content with getting just 1 kill per drone. For this class, I went all in on the healing and reviving capabilities. So say goodbye to the medic class and say hello to the new and improved monk class. The goal of the monk is to take a vow of peace. Their only job is to heal and revive teammates. Since you are fully dedicated to peace, you will not be shooting your primary weapon at all. To create this class, you'll have to select medic and your loadout is going to look like this. For the primary weapon, go with any SMG that gives the highest running speed. So that would be the MP7, UMP, PP2000, or the Chris Vector. Don't worry, you aren't going to be shooting the Vector. Your primary gadget will be the M320 smoke grenade launcher to provide concealment when dragging allies to safety. There's a bit of a silhouette bug with the launcher, allowing enemies to see you through smoke, so hopefully that gets fixed soon. The second gadget is of course going to be the medkit. This class would not work without this vital gadget, and it's the only choice for the medic anyways. For throwables, go with any smoke grenade color you prefer for more concealment on the battlefield. For armor, select light. For helmet, select normal. And for backpack, select normal. All the character choices are chosen to optimize running speed, allowing you to revive and heal as quick as possible. Now let's take a look at the pros and cons I noticed while playing the monk. The pros are, number 1, you get to be a hero on the battlefield, hearing all the thank yous from soldiers you picked up. Number 2, healing and reviving provides some of the best experience gains in the game. Number 3, it's a nice change of pace from the running and gunning playstyle. The cons are, number 1, you do run into awkward situations of not being able to shoot an enemy that's standing right in front of you. Number 2, it might ruin your KD if that is something you really care about. I personally don't. And number 3, like stated before, the smoke grenade launcher doesn't conceal very well, so it might not be the best gadget. This class was difficult because the leader is just so bad, so I just went all in on the various types of vehicles this game has to offer. So say goodbye to the leader class and you won't be missed, and say hello to the new and improved transporter class. The goal of this class is to drive your teammates to points of interest so they are always capturing enemy objectives. To create this class, you'll have to be the leader of your squad and of course select leader. Your loadout is going to look like this. For primary weapon, it really does not matter because you won't be shooting it from behind the wheel. For primary gadget, you're going to go with C4. This is going to be used to take out all of your Uber and Lyft competitors. For secondary gadget, go with the sledgehammer. This is just in case your vehicle manages to get stuck and you need a way out. For throwables, go with impact grenades, which will also be used to take out your competition. For armor, helmet, and backpack, go with normal. Not like you have any other options anyways. Now let's take a look at the pros and cons I noticed while playing the transporter class. The pros are, number 1, I found it fun to drive players around while also having a nice chat with them. Number 2, you can get some insane transportation experience if you are good at flying helicopters, which I am sadly not. The cons are, number 1, I found that sometimes it was really difficult to get passengers in your vehicle, creating a ton of downtime. Number 2, the Humvees are destroyed very quickly and easily, making it hard to keep that vehicle alive. And number 3, not all game modes have vehicles, so this class simply just won't work. For this class, I went all in on the use of the riot shield, trying my hardest to make this gadget work. So say goodbye to the assault class and say hello to the new and improved human tank class. The goal of this class is to be in the front of all of your team's objective pushes and eat as many bullets as possible. With you as the tank, you'll be saving your team a ton of tickets. To create this class, you'll have to select assault and your loadout is going to look like this. The primary weapon can be swapped out, but I'm going with the ACR for the 0.05 movement speed increase. Also, the weapon just got buffed. For the primary gadget, go with the C4 so you can lay down some traps for your enemies when they try to push your shield. For a secondary gadget, go with the riot shield, which is going to be the main bullet deflector and allows you to eat a ton of lead. For throwables, go with flare, so your team knows exactly where the tank is and if enemies are nearby. For armor, select heavy. For helmet, select normal. And for backpack, select light for extra speed. Choosing the tankiest armor the assault has is only fitting for this class type. Also, holding out the riot shield makes you extremely slow, so the light backpack helps counteract that a tad bit. Now let's take a look at the pros and cons I noticed while playing the human tank. The pros are, number 1, it's a great loadout for pushing objectives while having a bit of safety. Number 2, the riot shield has a quick swap in and out, allowing you to make some nice assault rifle plays. Number 3, a ton of players do not know about the riot shield, so everybody gets amazed when they see it. The cons are, number 1, you move very slow with the shield out, so you must position wisely. Number 2, nades and C4s are everywhere, and it is pretty much impossible to dodge them all. And number 3, you can't actually hit enemies with the riot shield like the MW2 glory days. For this class, I went all in on the destruction of vehicles and buildings. So say goodbye to the engineer class and say hello to the new and improved demolition class. The goal of this class is pretty much like engineer, but you will not be repairing allied vehicles at all. Your only goal is to destroy everything in sight. To create this class, you will have to select the engineer and your loadout is going to look like this. For the primary weapon, go with the Scar H. I went with this weapon because it does a good amount of damage to armored vehicles, which leads to even more of vehicle destruction. For primary gadget, go with C4. Having a couple of these things in your pocket can lead to the collapse of many buildings. For secondary gadget, go with the only RPG that matters, heat. You can also use tandem for those armored vehicles, but I went with heat because it is more versatile. For throwables, go with the anti-vehicle grenades to take out all drivable machinery. I know not many players out there run these, but I would encourage you to give them a try. For armor, select heavy. For helmet, go with empty. And for backpack, select heavy. The heavy armor gives you one more throwable, and the heavy backpack gives you more rockets. Also, do not forget to equip the tool belt, which is only for engineers, and gives you one more primary gadget. Now let's take a look at the pros and cons I noticed while playing the Demolitionist class. The pros are, number 1, more explosives equals more fun. At least I think that's how it works. Number 2, has the insane potential for tons of experience for the destruction of vehicles. And number 3, the satisfaction you get from getting rid of those pesky tanks that sit on the side of mountains acting like snipers. Those are the worst. The cons are, number 1, it is pretty much just how most people play the engineer class. Number 2, probably going to die a ton to vehicles since you're going out of your way to hunt them down. And number 3, you are not equipped with enough rockets.